G-Sauce, Gavin here. This weekend I got 22nd at the South Park Regional, getting me another invite. I wish I could have played cleaner. If I played cleaner towards the end, I probably could have snuck into top 8, if not top 4. But we threw a match, and because of that, we didn't get into top 8. But I wanted to show off the deck list. I still think my deck is very cool, and let's hop into it. First, let's start off with the branded package. So I played branded Dracotail. I think this deck is probably the best in the format and does pretty well into the pile decks. So I played 2 Honky and 1 Fallen of Albaz. The reason why you played 2-1, or why I did it, was because I wanted to have more flexibility in interruptions, and I wanted to be better going second into certain decks. So because of that, you want to play at least 2 Honky and 1 Fallen. Comes up a lot where this is needed. Then we play 1 Incredible Ecclesia. I see some people play 3 of this for being better going second, but this card doesn't really do much when you're going first unless you see other names. Which is why we actually play 2 Cartasia, because Cartasia is what you get off of this combo anyway to fuse. So why not just play more of her? I was thinking about playing the 3rd and going up to 41 for the day just to try something new out, but I actually didn't have enough sleeves, so I just kept it at 40 with the 2, which worked out really fine because I did go undefeated to start the day. So that is all of the branded package, other than the spells. Honestly, this felt pretty good. Not seeing this felt really good. Of course, you want to keep it in graveyard for some plays I'll talk about later. But yeah, this felt very, very good. I don't think I really want to change that. Next are the Dracotails, where this is going to be kind of samey. Triple Lucius, triple Phimena, triple Urgula. You play Urgula because you're going to be playing a lot of mirrors, and Urgula is actually sneaky good against the Yummy and Radiant Typhoon decks anyway. So this just baits more stuff out, gives you more follow-up with the other Dracotail cards being able to put itself on the bottom, grab some stuff back. Very, very good. And these are obviously the 2 best ones to see other than Malulu. So you want to max out. Next are the auxiliary one-ofs of Pan. You don't want to max out on him. Pan is very good for disruption later, but doesn't really come up much other than that. Maybe, I know people used to max out on him just to get more pops, but honestly, with how the format is now, you really don't want to do that, especially into the mirror. You don't want to really see Pan. 1 Frixel. Frixel gives you some really cool lines off Branded Fusion. And 1 Malulu. Also gives you some really cool plays off of Branded Fusion. Gives you some pretty good Chaos lines as well. But you play 1 because he's as much as you can play. Next are the non-engine. I just wanted to play the most high impact ones. So triple Ash because you can turn off your opponent's Charmies. And it's like not too bad to draw anyway. You can Ash Branded Fusion. Triple Fua. Very high impact. It's pretty good against pile decks. And double Droll. If you've ever seen my profiles on this deck before on Pie for Life, or I think on my channel as well, I wasn't really going with Droll because I didn't like the fact that they don't give you any advantage afterwards. Because the reason why Charmies are good in this deck is because you can draw into more cards you can fuse with for Phimena. But because pile decks exist, you want to be able to play a card like Droll just to kind of save yourself in game 1, just so you don't lose a die roll and lose directly to like anybody drawing like 10 cards or going into a mega combo. So I made a concession to do this game 1, and then after that just side into more cards that give me more advantage, which did work. Droll was very good all day. And for the rest of my non-engine, I'm playing triple Forbidden Droplet. This card was fantastic all day, being able to dodge cards like Flame, the Radiant Typhoon Negate, and a bunch of other things. Droplet was probably the best card in my deck. Very, very good card. I did brick on this like once or twice, but is what it is. Droplet's Droplet. Now for the spells. Triple Rahu, it's Branded Fusion. 1 Ketu, Branded Fusion going second, and it's the most you can play. And then for the branded package of double Fallen into Virtuous, double Branded Fusion. You don't need triple Fallen into Virtuous. This card's fantastic, but honestly, it's... I don't know. 2 just feels like the right number. I hate playing 2 of a very powerful card that I always want to see, but if you ever have access into a branded card, you always have access to it. So it's fine, in my opinion, to play 2 of it, because one gets you into the other one. And then Branded Fusion's fantastic. It does suck. It's a little anti-synergistic with the Synchro package. I think I only went into the Fallen and Virtuous Synchro like once. But honestly, like, it being a very good option is still there. And then I actively played all 3 traps, because at a regional, I didn't want to lose because I went into a matchup where Horn was good, and I wanted my opponents to always know I was on it, so they always had to play around it. 40 cards. Next is the extra deck. Double Arthalion. If you're having the 3rd one come up often, I don't think you're playing this deck correctly. 1 Gulamel. This card is fantastic. 1 Shawless. I initially didn't want to play this card, but this card came up a lot, including into a misplay I did against my one of my later round opponents that cost me a top. But it is what it is. You live and learn. This card has been fantastic. 1 Mysterion, 1 Secretarion. I played against an opponent who played 2 Secretarion, but I was able to outgrind it and beat it. Mysterion also was fantastic. He didn't come up at all during the regional, but there are a lot of matchups like into Malice where at a regional you would want to have access into it. He's also pretty good against Yummy. 1 Chaos. Chaos is low-key like the best card in the deck. It kind of sucks you don't always have access into it, but like in the matchups where this card's good, like if you know, like basically just getting like a pop 3 and everything is fantastic when you're going into it. If you want to have like more lines or anything, if you want a better discussion on why Chaos is so good, I can post a another video where I go over this deck more. Like, I think this card is fantastic. Now for the branded cards, which I think are the best cards in the deck other than the Chaos. 1 Albalenitis to clear the board. Double Albion. I see that this has been a discussion that some people are only playing 1. You want to be able to send 1 off of your Honky and fuse with 1, or even if you want to get more into weeds, fuse with both of them. Card is very, very good. This is high-key going to be coming up, like your most used fusion. 1 Mirror Jade. It's very good into a bunch of just like weird matchups, especially into the mirror. 1 Dragon that Devours. It's a towers. It shuffles stuff back. If you can summon this card, he's fantastic. And being able to send it first and then be able to get another add or ascend is actively fantastic. People don't think Rinbrum comes up as much until you're in situations where if you dumped Rinbrum, you won the match. This card is actively probably one of the best cards in the list as well. I know I've said that about a lot of cards here, but like, I'm being so honest with you, these cards in the extra deck are so high impact, they're a lot better than most people think they are. 1 Ecclesia, the Dark Dragon. This actively wasn't in my list for the longest time, just to like test out other cards and testing. But you need this in your list just so that like if you have to do the combo with Honky, you can. It doesn't come up as much as you think it does. I don't like to lead Honky when I can. I like to summon Honky later into the combo. And usually I'm already fusion locked, so this card isn't as good, but it's fine. Being able to send it off of Fallen into Virtuous is pretty good. 1 SP Little Knight. I like to put myself into game positions a lot where I'm not always actively winning, or if I can't kill, if I can't win during the battle phase, I go into SP Little Knight, clear a board, or use this to try to outgrind my opponent. Comes up a lot. Of course, when you do that, you put yourself into a position where it's more easily or not that you can lose, because by giving your opponent an extra turn, you give them an extra turn to draw into a good card that can turn the game around. But if you have SP set up in full combo, I don't think you're losing. 15 in extra. And then for the side, 2 Bestials. This is for the Yummy combo decks. And honestly, I side in Magma most times when I can go first anyway, because it's a good engine card. Triple Perulia. Perulia's, because it's a regional, you want to be able to have coverage into a lot of card or decks that can summon from hand, like VSK9. When they're playing Yummy and they have to start off with the Yummy cards or the Radiant Typhoon cards, or honestly just into Radiant Typhoon in general. This card just puts in a lot of work. Triple Nib, it's Nibiru, it's fantastic, especially in this deck. It's a light that you can fuse off into Albion. It is another body you can use for a fusion with 5 mana. Very, very good. 1 Pot of Prosperity, 1 Cold by the Grave. These are God cards, so you want to be able to side them in when you know you're going first, just to put yourself into a winning position. 1 Harpies, 1 Lightning Storm. I won a game because I hit my opponent with Feather Duster. They went Flame. I went Droplet, Send Duster. You lose. Yada, yada, yada. Fantastic. Lightning Storm is about the same idea, too. One thing I know a lot of people talk about with this is that if you fuse with 5 mana, this card's bad. I don't know what you're talking about. If you fuse with 5 mana during your opponent's turn, or if you know you have this in your deck, you just hold 5 mana. Actively, it's usually a lot better for you to hold the 5 mana than to use it on the opponent's turn. Triple Imperm as well, because it's a regional and I don't know what my opponents are going to be on. So if there's going to be a lot of canine cards, I want to be able to play cards like this so that I can actively put in more good cards into them. Came up a lot. Honestly, I wish I would have changed around my siding patterns as well a little bit. Just because there were a lot of times where I would be playing against crazy combo decks where I wish I didn't have triple Imperm and probably could have played another Lightning Storm. But it is what it is. Other than that, that was the deck profile. The deck played really well. Only times I lost was to a shifter match and when I was playing like an idiot. So yeah, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. I know it's not a topping deck profile, but I'm still proud of having another invite this season. You can never have too many. And I like to show off whenever I have just a little bit of success. You know, it's the small things that count. And honestly, I think this deck list could have topped if I was just a little bit of a better player this weekend. But it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.